Hello, my name is Gong Qinxue, metric number 283947. So this is our presentation for the Chicago School. So the Chicago School of Economics is one of the most influential schools of economics in the 20th century. It originated from the University of Chicago and has profoundly influenced economic theory and practice. Chicago macroeconomic theory rejected Keynesianism and supported monetarism. It was not until the mid 1970s that the Chicago School's ideological system turned to the foundation of neoclassical economics, especially in price theory, monetarism, and rational expectations theory. So the five main problems of neoclassical economics, which is how does the market allocate resources effectively? How does the price mechanism work? What is the relationship between money supply and economic fluctuations? How does rational expectations affect individual economic decisions? And what is the rationality and effectiveness of government interventions in the market? So these five main questions become so for the market, how allocate resources effectively? Since in a free market economy, resources are limited, while demand is unlimited. The Chicago School believes that the market determines prices through supply and demand, thereby effectively allocating resources. Changes in prices reflect the scarcity or surplus of resources, thereby stimulating producers and consumers to adjust their behavior and ultimately achieve the optimal allocation of resources. For example, when a certain commodity is in short supply, the price rises, producer will increase supply, and consumers may reduce demand, eventually bringing the market supply and demand into balance. And for the price mechanism work, the Chicago School believes that the price mechanism is the core tool of the market economy. It automatically adjusts the market through supply and demand to make the market tend to equilibrium. Prices not only reflect the scarcity of goods but also convey important information about resource allocation. Price changes not only affect consumers' purchasing decisions but also affect producers' production decisions. For example, an increase in the price of a certain commodity will promote producers to expand production, while a drop in price will reduce production. In this process, the invisible hand of the market helps resources to flow efficiently between different users, thereby maximizing social welfare. So next, for the relationship between money supply and economic fluctuations, the Chicago School of Monetarist Theory was proposed by Milton Friedman, who argued that changes in the money supply have an important impact on economic activities and price levels. Friedman believed that an increase or decrease in the money supply directly affects aggregate demand, thereby affecting economic fluctuations. When there is too much money supply, uh, excessive demand may lead to inflation, while too little money supply may cause deflation or economic recession. The Chicago School emphasizes that monetary policy should maintain a stable growth rate rather than relying on government fiscal policy or other innovation measures to smooth out economic fluctuations. And for the rational expectations theory, it was proposed by Robert E. Lucas, who argued that individuals form rational expectations based on all available information when making economic decisions. That is, they will predict the future economic environment and make the most favorable decisions. According to this theory, individuals make decisions not only based on past experience, but also take into account factors such as policy changes. For example, if the government adopts an expansionary monetary policy, the rational expectation theory believes that people will foresee an increase in future inflation and may therefore make adjustments in advance. Therefore, the expectations of policymakers often weaken the actual effect of the policy to a certain extent. The last question, what is the rationality and effectiveness of government intervention in the market? So this area is one of the core controversies of the Chicago School. Scholars of the Chicago School generally believe that the market has the ability to self-regulate, and the government should not excessively intervene in the market economy. According to their point of view, the market can allocate resources more efficiently without intervention, while government intervention often distorts the market mechanism and leads to inefficient resources allocation. For example, excessively high tax rates and government subsidies may cause distortions in production and consumption and hinder the normal operation of the market. Milton Friedman and others advocate minimizing the role of the government in the economy, advocating reducing government regulation, lowering taxes, and relaxing market access to promote free competition and economic efficiency. So that's all for my part. Thank you very much.
Milton Friedman was a leading figure of the Chicago School of Economics, known for his advocacy for free market policy and minimal government intervention. He completed his undergraduate studies at Rutgers University and his graduate degree from University of Chicago and Columbia University, where he was profoundly influenced by economic pragmatics. Friedman served as a faculty member at the University of Chicago from 1948 to 1977, playing a pivotal role in shaping the university economy department into hub for innovative economic group. After retiring, he became a senior fellow at Harvard University and Stanford University. Friedman's legacy extends beyond academia through his writing, public speaking, and effort to communicate economic principles to a broader audience. Milton Friedman was a prominent economist of leading figure of the Chicago School of Economics. Renowned for his free market advocacy, Friedman served as president of the American Economic Association in 1967 and was awarded the Nobel Prize in Economics in 1976 for his groundbreaking work in consumption analysis, monetary history, and theory. Beyond academia, he's made a significant public impact as a columnist for Newsweek, the author of Inflation Book, a participant in educational television series, and a sought-after public speaker. Through this role, he successfully communicated complex economic ideas to a broad audience, solidifying his legacy of both academic and public intellectual. First is critical of Keynesian consumption function. In his 1957 work, A Theory of Consumption Function, Friedman criticized of the Keynesian consumption function for being overly simplistic and relying on short-term income data. He illustrates this with an example where workers earning 100,000 weekly but receiving staggered pay appear to have distorted consumption and saving partner when analyzed daily. This issue arose from inappropriate definition of income and consumption, which did not compare the true behavior of individuals, lengthening the observation period to a week or even a year to address the increase in actual consumption income data. Second is key position. The permanent income hypothesis. Friedman proposed the permanent income hypothesis as an alternative framework, asserting the household consumption is determined by its permanent income rather than in current income. Permanent income is defined as the average income that individuals expect to receive over a long period. People aim to maintain the stable standard of living and are less likely to adjust their consumption in response to temporary or transitory income charge, such as those resulting from investment or government spending. Third, in implication of the theory, Freeman theory implies that the marginal propensity to consume of the class in current income is smaller than Keynesian theory suggests. Reduced sensitivity because investment multiplier, meaning that temporary fluctuation in income have a less significant impact on consumption and economic activity. As a result, the elegant internal stability of the economy is overstated under the Keynesian framework. Monetary theory explored the role of money in the economy and is it influenced the key macroeconomic variables such as inflation, unemployment, and economic growth. It provides critical insight into how the change in the money supply can drive overall economic conditions. A central figure in modern monetary theory was Milton Friedman, a prominent economist from the Chicago School, who revised the understanding of inflation. Friedman famously asserted that inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. Highlight that excessive growth in the money supply is the primary driver of inflation. Rather than fiscal policy of demand shock, this perception gained significant traction during 1917 and 1918 as policymakers sought to address the era high inflation and unemployment, which exposed the limitation of traditional Keynesian approach. Freeman's contribution remain foundational is complementary economic tools. Demand of money. Freeman's view of money demand. Money demand refers to the desire of individual and business to hold cash balance for various purposes. Unlike Keynesian theory that distinguishes between different types of money transaction speculations, Freeman treat of money similarly in terms in its utility. Third significant implication for understanding money demand and its role in monetary policy. The demand for money is relatively interest inelastic and stable, making it a reliable called monetary policy decision. According to Freeman, the demand of money is influenced by three key factors. First, total will play a role as individual or household with higher permanent income. Their expected long-term earnings tend to demand more money. Second, the cost of holding money, including the opportunity costs such as foregone interest for holding non-monetary assets like stock and bonds, affect money demand. Higher expected inflation can reduce money demand as individuals may prefer other assets with protection for capital gain. Third is stable preference or of attitude toward holding cash contribution to the consistent nature of money demand over time. This insight emphasizes the importance of a stable money demand function is effective monetary policy formulation. The modern quantity theory of money offers key insight into relationship between money supply and price level. It posits that change in money supply directly influence price level, particularly in the long run when the economy operates near full capacity. Unlike realization, this theory does not assume that the velocity of money, the rate at which money circulate in economy, is constant. The mechanism behind this theory explains that when the central bank increases the money supply, individuals find themselves holding excess cash balance. This surplus from higher spending on goods and services, driving aggregate demand. In the short term, this can lead to increased output and employment. However, in the long term, it primarily results in inflation. Milton Friedman successfully summarized this principle with his famous assertion: inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon produced by an excess group in money supply. Philip curve and inflation. Short-run Philip curve illustrates the temporary inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment. For example, in inflation rise unexpectedly, firms benefit from lower real wage, leading to increased employment movement along the curve. For long-run Philip curve, vertical at the natural rate of unemployment, indicating no long-term trade-off between inflation and unemployment. If inflation expectation adjusts, the short run curve shift upward, negative employment gain. Implication of implication for policy. Policymaker cannot reduce unemployment permanently to higher inflation, as this only lead to a cycle of rising inflation expectation and evolution instability. Curve economic began with inflation at rate P1 and unemployment at a natural rate UN. Monetary affairs aim to reduce unemployment to U1, a rate below the natural level, by increasing the money supply. This action reflects a willingness to treat higher inflation P2, while lower unemployment inflation rise to P2 and unemployment temporarily fall to U1 point B on CRPC1. Reason for temporary decline in unemployment firm see produce price rising faster than their unit labor cost. Labor contract based on expected inflation P1 log nominal wage, reducing real wage, lower real wage encourage firm to hire more workers. Job seeker and offer highest nominal wage, permitting them to accept job more quality, reducing further unemployment. When actual inflation P2 except expected inflation P1, unemployment fall temporarily from U1 to UN. Each point for SRPC1 respected a combination of unemployment rate and actual inflation rate that divide from expectation. When actual inflation P2 accept expected inflation P1, unemployment fall temporarily from UN to U1. Each point in SRPC1 respected a combination of unemployment rate and actual inflation rate that divide from expectation. Monetary policy. Friedman recommendation monetary policy. The money supply should grow at a consistent rate aligning the economic potential growth, avoiding discretionary investment critical of active. Monetary policy. Discretionary policy often lead to instability due to time lag of misadjustment in economic conditions. History evidence show that central banks, including the Federal Reserve, have sometimes acceptable economic downturn. Benefit of rule-based approach provide stability and predictability from business and consumer. Shape monetary policy from politician influence and short-term pressure. Term payment and economy liberalism. Co-believe economic freedom is essential for political freedom. A nation cannot achieve true political freedom under excessive state control. Advocacy for freedom market. Promote less government intervention and greater reliance on market to drive efficiency and growth. Care for firm purpose. Flexible market determine foreign exchange rate. US all volunteer army. Negative income tax for low income support. Education voucher for school choice. Privatization of public service. Legalization of recessional drug. Legacy. Redefine the role of money and market in the economy. His idea remind inflation in debate of balanced government and market law. Samuelson and Friedman. In Milton, Friedman had not existed in would have been necessary to even.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Putri Nabila. My magic number is 29321. I would like to present about Robert E. Lucas Jr. He was born in 1937 in Yakima, Washington, was a leading economist known for developing rational expectation theory. Educated at the University of Chicago, he worked at Carnegie Mellon before returning to Chicago in 1974. Lucas won the Nobel Prize in 1995 his work, which stimulate that individuals adjust expectation to policy changes, often rendering interventions ineffective. His contributions fundamentally reshaped macroeconomics, challenging Keynes theories, and advancing the field of modern economic modeling. Pass as follows. From Tillers to Layman's Economic Information. George Tiller introduced the idea that information is an economic good. Individuals seek information only when the marginal benefit exceeds the marginal cost. They explain why consumers do not view it as cost. They search for information as scattering more can be costly. Asymmetric information. Building on Tiller, George Akerlof, the market polymer, revealed how unequal access to information harm markets. Sellers of low-quality goods layman's terminate because buyers cannot distribute quality, leading to inefficiency and favor high-quality product. Price dispensations. Variation in prices occurred because consumers stopped searching when information costs outweighed benefits. Sellers respond differently based on the amount of information they hold, leading to market inefficiency. Market solutions. Mechanisms such as warranty, consumer review, and the internet address these information gaps. Warranty signal quality, review build trust, and the internet allow consumers to compare products efficiently, enhancing market functionality. Rational expectation, the theory, developed by Robert Lucas, this theory states that individuals in the economy form expectations about the future using all available information, including historical economic data and policies. It highlights how people anticipate policy impacts, making government interventions like fiscal spending or monetary adjustments less effective. And the second one is policy implications. Tax cuts or increases money supply fail to produce lasting economic growth because rational agents policy inflation and adjust wages and prices. This limits the government's ability to reduce unemployment or stimulate growth in the long term. And the last one is impact on macroeconomics. Rational expectation transforms economic thinking by showing the importance of individuals' forward-looking behavior. It challenges Keynes' models, emphasizing that economic agents adjust quickly, reducing reliance on policy interventions. This theory became a cornerstone of the new classical school of economics, shaping modern macroeconomic policies. Lucas' aggregate supply analysis. In the short run, unexpected increases in demand can temporarily raise output. Firms misinterpret higher prices as a profit opportunities, leading to more hiring and productions. However, these effects are short-lived as wages and input costs adjust over time. In the long run, the economy self-corrects. Output returns to its natural level and only prices increase. The long-run aggregate supply curve is vertical, reflecting that real output is determined by supply size factor. This shows that government policy may impact output temporarily but mainly result in inflations over time. Graph explanation. Short run, the aggregate supply curve slope upward because in the short run, an increase in aggregate demand from 81 to 82 leads to higher prices and increases output from Y1 to Y2. Firms interpret it as an opportunity from profit, increasing productions and hiring workers. Long run, over time, wages and input prices adjust and the economic returns to its natural output level Y star. In the long run, only prices rise, not output. Lucas' analysis showed that policy interventions aimed at shifting demand, like government spending or changes in interest rates, will only have temporary effects on output. In the long run, these policies primarily result in inflation rather than certain changes in economic activity or employment. The model emphasizes that the natural level of output is determined by supply-side factors, not demand-side policies. Lucas' work in strength. First one is revolutionizing microeconomics. Lucas' rational expectation theory reshaped macroeconomics by showing that individuals adjust their behavior based on future expectations. This challenges Keynes' views, emphasizing that policy aimed at controlling inflation or stimulating demand can be undone by anticipatory actions. And the second one is self-correcting markets. Lucas argued that markets naturally correct themselves, aligning with classical economic thought. This insight encourage a shift in policies, focusing on market efficiency rather than heavy government interventions. And the last one is integration of micro and macro. Lucas integrated individual decision-making into macroeconomics, showing how personal expectations about inflation or policies shape overall economic outcomes. This became a cornerstone for new classical economics. Criticism. First one is assumption of perfect facility. Critique accrued that Lucas' model assumes instant price and wages facility, but real market often experience rigidities and slow adjustment, particularly in the short run. This undermines the theory ability to explain actual market behavior. The second one is overlooking frictions. Lucas' theory does account for critical friction, such as an employment cost, price sickness, and information barriers, which can make government intervention more effective in really, especially during periods of economic instability or recessions. And the last one, limited practical application. While rational expectation offer valuable insights in theory, its real-world application face challenges including imperfect information, behavioral unpredictability, and agent-derived responses, making the model difficult to apply in dynamic, real-life economic environments. Last part for Lucas' work is legacy. Despite facing criticism, Lucas' contribution continued to influence macroeconomic policy and monetary theory. His works on rational expectation reshaped how economists view government interventions and market efficiency, emphasizing the role of individual expectations in shaping economic outcomes. While his models may face changes in real-world application, especially during short-time disruptions, they remain fundamental to contemporary economic thought and continue to inform modern macroeconomic policy.
Hello, my name is Keetan Krishnan and my metric number is 293557. So today I'm going to present about George J. Stigler. As you all know, he is not in our textbook, and so this is the new information I've carried out from another textbook for you guys. So as you all know, George J. Stigler is also an American economist who lives in 1911 until 1999 for 80 years, associated with the Chicago School of Economics. He is best known for his work in industrial organization, the economics of information, and theory of regulation. Whatever we study as industrial regulation and industrial organization right now, that all the theories was created by him. So Stigler was awarded the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Science in 1982 for his pioneering studies of market structures and the functioning of economics. George was a highly regarded economic historian, and his PhD dissertation on the history of neoclassical production and distribution theories was acclaimed as a critical link in the chain of economic thought. In 1982, he won the Nobel Prize in Studies of Industrial Structures, Market Functioning, and Effects of Public Regulation. He is the one who related the theory of price and market demand so that the economist or the new people who want to explore in economics know about the demand function and market structure to use their economics to obtain the profit. So first of all, we're going to see the first contribution of him, Economics of Information. So in his seminal 1961 paper, The Economics of Information, he explored the idea that information acquisition and processing are not free but involve cost. He argued that the presence of these costs profoundly affects market efficiency and consumer decision making. Here's brief explanation which concept got information cost, search behavior, implication for market efficiency. So as we see the implication of market efficiency, markets are efficient when consumers and producers are complete and accurate information. However, when accurate information is costly, inefficiencies such as price dispersion and suboptimal purchasing decision can arise. So we can relate this to this current situation, like in online market, online shopping website like price comparison platforms such as Shopee, Lazada reduce information costs for consumers, leading to greater price transparency and more competitive pricing by sellers. Stigler's idea highlight the role of such platforms in mitigating inefficiency caused by costly information. So the second contribution is regulatory economics. George J. Stigler capture theory argues that regulatory agencies establish to oversee and control industries in public interest, but ended up influenced or controlled by they are supposed to regulate. This happens because the regulated entities have a strong own initiative that such as lobbying, expertise, funding with the general public, benefiting and marginally with the regulation. Has weaker incentives to monitor or influence the agency. For example, we can take that in US, agriculture subsidies which were intended to support farmers oftenly not encourage benefit large agribusiness corporation rather than small scale farmers. Similarly, the telecommunication companies like AT and Comcast have historically influenced regulators to set favorable policies. So it will create competition and innovation. So Stigler theory highlights a critical flaw in regulatory systems, suggesting the need for the mechanism to reduce industry influence over public agencies. So we are moving to the market structure that was contributed by our Josh. So in his 1950 paper, Monopoly and Oligopoly by Merger, that's how examine how mergers between firms impact market structure, competition and pricing. So he argued that mergers, especially in concentrated industries, can reduce competition by increasing market power, allowing the merged entities to set higher prices or restrict output. Stigler also noted that mergers in oligopolistic markets, like dominant firms, could create conditions aligned to monopolies where firms coordinate to maximize their profits and reduce their expenses on consumer welfare. For example, larger scale mergers in industries price of consumers. Stigler analysis has been foundational in understanding the economic implication of mergers and informing antitrust policies. So as we move to the last contribution, as we know, empirical analysis of markets. So he's championed the use of empirical data to analyze the understand real world economic phenomena. That's why his theories are real and used by until now, moving economics toward a more evidence-based discipline. He conducted pioneering studies on price distribution, demonstrating how different prices for identical goods arise due to such cost and imperfect information. Additionally, his work on industry concentration examined the relationship between market structure and economic performance, showing how factors like monopolies or oligopolies affect competitions and efficiency of a firm. For instance, his analysis of firm sizes in industries provided empirical support for theories about economics of scale and market dominance. Stigler emphasized on data-driven research continues to shape modern economic inquiry and policy analysis. So as we see his contribution, the books that he published, The Theory of Price, which is published on 1946. This textbook is one of Stigler's most influential works, providing a foundational treatment of microeconomics and price theory. It has been widely used in economics education and celebrated for its clear exposition of the particular topic about demand and supply and market structure. The second book that has been known for him, isn't it? Production and Distribution Theories, The Formative Period, 1941. So in this book, Stigler examines the history of economic thought, focusing the development of production and distribution theories from Adam Smith to the early 20th century, and converted to the theories that has been used in current situation with related to now. So for the Chicago School, he has contributed a strong advocate for the efficiency of markets in allocating resources such as land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur, arguing that competitive markets are typically the best mechanism for ensuring that resources are used where they're most valued. He highlighted the limitations of government intervention, particularly in regulatory activities, where agencies often fail to act in the public interest due to bureaucratic inefficiencies or regulatory capture. Stigler, along with his collaborator Milton Friedman, advanced the Chicago School of Economics principles, emphasizing minimal government interference and a preference for free market solution. The shared work championed deregulations, privatization, and policies fostering market competition as essential for economic growth of innovation.
Hi, my name is Nurul Aibek Zulkifli, my metric number 292782. Today, I would like to present about Gary S. Becker. Let's start by introducing Gary S. Becker. He was born in 30 in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, and is widely recognized as one of the most influential economists of the 20th century. Becker's work was revolutionary because he applied the tools of economics to areas traditionally studied in sociology, such as family dynamics, discrimination, and education. What makes Becker stand out is his belief that the principle of neoclassical economic like rational choice, market equilibrium, and stable preference can explain all human behavior, not just economic transaction. He was not just an academic, he used his platform in Business Week to bring economics to general public. Becker had a gift for making complex ideas accessible, which allowed him to demonstrate how economics affect our daily life, from the choices we make as individuals to broader societal trends. Becker's academic journey began at Princeton University, where he earned his bachelor's degree. He then pursued his PhD at the University of Chicago, which became his academic home and the hub of his intellectual contributions. He wrote 5 key books that cement his legacy. These include The Economics of Discrimination, 1957, where he analyzed prejudice through an economic lens, and Human Capital, 1964, which reshaped how we think about investment in education and skills. His other works, Economic Theory, a treatise on the family, and the economic approach to economic behavior, reflect his ability to merge economic tools with social issues. Throughout these works, Becker reshaped the boundaries of economics, showing how economic theory could be applied to topics like family dynamic, altruism, and even crime. Becker's groundbreaking 1957 book, The Economic of Discrimination, was the first to apply economic principle to the issue of prejudice. His key insight was to treat discrimination as a taste or preference. Let's break that down. Imagine an employer who discriminates against a particular group. Becker argued that this discrimination comes at a cost. It is not just a social or moral failing, it is also an economic decision. When an employer chooses to not hire a qualified individual because of their bias, they incur a non-monetary cost to maintain that preference. This approach reforms discrimination as a behavior with measurable economic consequences, making it clear that it can harm both individuals being discriminated against and the businesses engaged in it. One of Becker's most important contributions was the concept of the discrimination coefficient. This term quantifies the additional cost that a prejudiced employer associates with hiring someone from a discriminated group. For instance, if the market wage for all workers is $6 and an employer's discrimination coefficient is 0.50, that employer perceives the cost of hiring a discrimination worker as $6.50. This extra cost exists only in the employer's mind, but it affects their hiring decisions. The discrimination coefficient allows us to measure the intensity of prejudice in economic terms. Employers with higher coefficients have stronger bias, while those with a coefficient of 0 are unprejudiced. By framing discrimination in this way, Beckers provide a clear way to analyze its impact on wage and hiring practices. Discrimination has significant effects on the labor market. For starters, it increases demand for workers from preferred groups, driving up their wage. Meanwhile, workers from discriminated groups face reduced demand and often lower wage. However, this behavior is not sustainable. Its employers who discriminated incur higher labor costs because they are effectively paying a premium to satisfy their bias. Over time, this reduces their competitiveness. In the long run, non-discriminatory employers who avoid those unnecessary costs will thrive. They gain access to a larger talent pool and maintain lower wage bills, which give them an edge in the market. Becker's analysis highlights how discriminatory practices not only harm individuals but also weaken businesses. Discrimination has significant effects on the labour market. For starters, it increases demand for workers from preferred groups, driving up their wage. Meanwhile, workers from discriminated groups face reduced demand and often lower wage. However, this behavior is not sustainable. Its employers who discriminated incur higher labour costs because they are effectively paying a premium to satisfy their bias. Over time, this reduces their competitiveness. In the long run, non-discriminatory employers who avoid those unnecessary costs will thrive. They gain access to a larger talent pool and maintain lower wage bills, which give them an edge in the market. Becker's analysis highlights how discriminatory practices not only harm individuals but also weaken businesses. Next, theory of the allocation of time. Traditional economics assume that consumption happens instantly. Becker challenged this by introducing the idea that time is a crucial input in consumption. Think about it. When you buy a meal, the full cost is not just the price you pay at the counter. It also includes the time you spend preparing, eating, or even waiting in line. Time is a finite and valuable resource, and Becker argued that we should account for it when analyzing economic decisions. His theory also redefined household as both producer and consumer of utility producing commodities. For example, preparing breakfast requires both market goods like eggs and bread, and the time needed to cook and eat. By including time in his analysis, Becker expanded the scope of economic theory to better reflect real-life decision-making. Becker's model has three key implications. First, higher income shift consumption patterns. People with more money tend to favor good-intensive activities like buying prepared meals instead of time-intensive ones, such as cooking from scratch. Second, technology plays a transformative role. Innovations like microwave reduce the time required for household tasks, freeing up time for work or leisure. Finally, his model explains changes in family decision. In household where both spouses have highly earning potential, family tend to have fewer children. They prioritize good intensive experience like induction and health over time intensive activities.
Okay, for we see Baker applied the economic theory to the family, treating it as until the maximizes well-being and utility. Families produce and consume commodities that contribute to their economic welfare and social welfare. Marriage allows for specialization and division of labor, where each partner focus on tasks they perform best. For instance, one partner might focus on earning income while the other manages household tasks. This arrangement enhances joint productivity in consumption. Children in Baker framework are seen as durable capital. While they add to a family welfare, they also come with a significant cost, and as a parents we have to spend expenses for them, both direct and indirect. So we move to next, which is Gary Becker viewed marriage and as economic partnership where couples enhance efficiency by dividing labor and specializing in the tasks with their complementary skills. Like most of us doing business entrepreneurship while others like to work in 9 to 5. These arrangements allows each partner to focus on areas where they are more productive, benefiting the household overall. He also highlighted positive sorting, where individuals with similar traits or qualities tend to pair up and maximizing the relationship utility or economic and personal gains. However, specialization can lead to unequal roles in the household, potentially creating imbalances in power, dependency, or opportunities. So, most probably in Malaysia that we always have inequality, and the spouses specializes in particular skill and they won't be similar. Yes, we are moving to the next slide, which is Gary Becker argued that fertility decisions are shaped by economic trade-off, where parents balance the cost of raising children, such as them spending them for their food, education, and the opportunity cost, as we know time. When we have a child, of course, we all know we have to spend more time, as we all know the baby products or the children products are more expensive compared to adults. So against the benefit, as incomes rise and opportunities for women expand, families often choose to have fewer children by investing more in their education and health to provide a well-being life, like prioritizing quality over quantity. That's why most of countries now emphasizing to have fewer children, because we are believing that when we have fewer children, we can spend more quality of money wise and time wise to them. And we also see that a lot of country which is higher population that does not economically be stable. Gary Becker emphasized altruism in family dynamics, where one person's utility rises when another family member's utility increases. This underpins his Roten-Kitt theorem, which posits that even selfish family members act in ways that benefit the family because their own welfare is tied to the family's overall well-being. However, in larger families, altruism becomes less effective as the benefit of cooperative behavior dilute among more members. So as we all know, most of us not living in the larger families as now, so the altruism plays a critical role in Malaysians' current family size.
Finally, let's discuss about divorce. Becker argued that marriage involves a search process. Individuals weigh the costs and benefits of finding the right partner. However, incomplete information at the time of marriage means that some partnerships may dissolve as new information emerges. Unexpected events such as infertility or career changes can also increase the likelihood of divorce. Additionally, as women's productivity in the workforce increases, the need for traditional household specialization decreases, which can make divorce more likely.
The shared core idea among Milton Friedman, Robert Lucas, George Stiger, and Gary Becker emphasize a belief in individual rationality and market efficiency, rejecting heavy government intervention in favor of market-driven solutions. Their collaboration encouraged economic truth, with Lucas expanding on Friedman's monetarist theories and the Phillips curve, while Stargate both on information economic complemented Becker research on rational decision making. Collectively, their contribution challenged the Keynes dominance of the mid-20th century, propelling neoclassical economics to global prominence and reshaping modern economic theory.